Hello, my name is Adam Gerhardt. I'm with the National Transportation Safety Board. I am an air safety investigator. The NTSB is an independent federal agency responsible for investigating every civil aviation aircraft accident in the United States. The purpose of our investigation is not only to determine what happened, but why the accident happened so that we may prevent future accidents from occurring again. The investigation is strictly safety focused. That's our job. Before I go any further, I'd like to express the NTSB's condolences to the friends and families of the 2 victims that were on board. I arrived on scene today to begin our investigation. I am assisted by the Federal Aviation Administration, an investigator also out of the Charlotte office. I came down from our Washington, D.C. area office. I expect to be here for about 1 to 2 days, but we will be here as long as it takes. The airplane will be recovered to a secure facility in Springfield, Tennessee, where our investigation will continue. I'm also assisted by a variety of specialists at our Washington, D.C. headquarters office. So I'm not just here by myself. I do have the full support of the NTSB back in Washington. We're in the early stages of the investigation. The most critical pieces that we're here to document today is the perishable evidence, which means basically with the passage of time, documenting that evidence is going to get a lot more difficult for us. So that's what we're doing here today, tomorrow, and then again we'll continue that work at the recovered facility. The process for the NTSB is a holistic approach. So we're going to be looking at the pilots, the airplane, and also the environment. So everything is on the table of looking at the airplane, the crew, and what they would have been facing for the flight, and also the weather conditions. And that's something that, as we move further into the investigation, documenting aircraft records, documenting pilot logbooks. It's just a routine process, a holistic approach of what we do for every fatal aviation investigation. The report that we issue, the first report will be a preliminary report issued in roughly 10 days. That'll have the factual information that we've learned on scene. The next report that will come out is a final report with the factual report, the analysis, and probable cause, which takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months. I'd like to thank the first responders, the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, and the Fairview Fire Department. Sincerely thank their efforts and all the support they've given our investigation. The preliminary information that I know at this point, the airplane was a 2-seat single-engine airplane. It was a RANS S6, a RANS, R-A-N-S, S6 experimental amateur-built airplane. The accident occurred yesterday about 10:30 in the morning. There were unfortunately 2 individuals on board, and they both were fatally injured. The flight was a local flight and departed from the Six Oaks Private Airport. That is the limited information that we know at this time. The investigation will move forward and cover the history of flight. What was the purpose of flight? What were the qualifications of the pilots? All of those details we will be moving forward and learning, and that information will be included in my preliminary report. I'd like to take your questions now.
Can you explain what perishable evidence might be?
Yes, sure. So perishable evidence, one example could be the fuel in the fuel tanks. So when we're looking at whether or not there was water in the fuel or not, that's just a routine fact-gathering process. So with the passage of time, with the rain or whatnot, that's one item where we want to document that. That's why we're here this morning, and checking those items such as that. Papers, documentations that can simply blow away. We show up, we're here on site, and gather that information and document the scene.
Were they a member of any AMA group around here that you're aware without giving any specific name or anything?
I'm not aware of that, but that will be part of our background investigation into the crew.
Can you speak to the damage of the plane? We're looking at it. Obviously, it's
The airplane was destroyed. That's what we would the terminology we would use is the airplane was destroyed. Yes.
looking at it. It looks like the front has the most damage. Do you believe it went? How do you believe it kind of came down just by looking at it?
We have interviewed one witness that did see the airplane enter basically it descended into terrain, and so we're not. That will be part of our process of looking exactly how the airplane came down, and looking into that.
What's the nature of how these planes are typically used? It seems like a very small one. You said it was amateur built. And how common is it? And what do you typically come across these kinds of?
Mm-hmm. Experimental amateur built airplanes is just a category of certification that the FAA uses. So it's just another form of another routine form of certification for an airplane. There are thousands of airplanes that are flying that are experimental amateur built. So it's there's thousands of them.
Is there a regulation difference between that and a commercial airline?
There are regulation differences between an experimental amateur built airplane and a commercial airline. Yes.
Any word at this point on where that plane was supposed to be headed?
We believe it was a local flight out of the Six Oaks Airport, departed from Six Oaks, and was expected to return to the airport, which is about 3/4 of a mile from the accident site.
Can you tell yet how many flight hours the actual aircraft had on it before it went down?
We will look into the total time of the airplane and also the total duration of the flight. That will be part of our report, but we don't know that today. A few other questions?
Can you just speak to what's happening now? It looks like you're removing it. Will it go to Tennessee immediately, or what's the plan?
Yes, so we will recover the airplane to Tennessee, where it'll be stored in a secure facility for further examination. The airplane will stay here tonight and being moved to a different facility here just for the night, and then we'll move on tomorrow.
You may have touched on it. What's kind of the nature of these airplanes? What are they used? Was it more of a hobby plane, or what's it used for?
An airplane like this would be used for personal flying. It would not be used for commercial tour transports or anything like that. So personal flying. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
All right.